Hi, I'm Rachel. So a while back, I was asked to babysit for this family I didn't really know well. They lived in a quiet neighborhood, not far from the city, but definitely calm and a little old-fashioned. The kind of place where every house has a story, you know? They needed me just for one night because they were going out to a dinner party. The baby was about 8 months old and usually slept pretty well, they said. The parents were friendly, but kind of distant when they handed me the baby monitor, like they wanted me to keep an eye on the baby but didn't really want to talk too much about it. The baby's room was down this long hallway at the back of the house. When I peeked inside, the room was simple. A crib, some toys, a nightlight casting a soft glow on the walls. The baby was already asleep when I got there, breathing softly. I settled in the living room with the monitor, figuring I'd just keep watch and maybe watch a movie or scroll on my phone until the parents got back. But after about 20 minutes, I started hearing something from the monitor. At first, it was just a tiny noise, maybe the baby shifting or the old house creaking. But then, very faintly, I thought I heard whispering. Not words, just soft, breathy sounds coming from the baby's room. I told myself it was nothing. Maybe the monitor was picking up some static, or maybe my mind was playing tricks. But the feeling didn't go away. After a while, those soft sounds from the baby monitor started to get clearer. It wasn't just random noises anymore. It was like someone was whispering, but I couldn't make out any words. Just quiet, breathy whispers that sent a chill down my spine. I kept telling myself it was nothing. Probably just the baby making little noises. Or maybe the old house settling. But then, every now and then, I thought I saw something moving on the monitor's screen. Not the baby, but like a shadow or a flicker behind the crib. I wasn't sure if I was imagining it, but the movement felt deliberate. Like someone or something was just out of sight, barely there. I even called the parents once, trying to check if the monitor was acting weird or if they noticed anything strange. They laughed it off, told me the baby was fine and to not worry so much. Old houses make noises, they said. Probably just your imagination. But I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone in that house, that someone or something was watching the baby. As the night went on, the whispering on the baby monitor didn't just stay faint. It got louder, more insistent. It wasn't words, really, more like heavy breaths mixed with quiet murmurs. Sometimes it almost sounded like someone trying to speak but holding back, like a secret barely escaping their lips. I found myself staring at the monitor for long stretches, my eyes fixed on the baby's room. And every time, just behind the crib, I thought I saw movement. A shadow flickering, like someone pacing slowly out of view. It wasn't right. The baby was asleep, sound asleep, but there was definitely something else. I felt my heart pounding, the hairs on my arms standing up. I tried to ignore it at first, telling myself it was just a trick of the light or my imagination running wild in the quiet house. I even got up and walked down the hallway to the baby's room, standing just outside the door. The room was empty. The baby was peacefully asleep, no shadows anywhere. I told myself, it's fine. It's just the monitor acting up. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching, not me, but the baby, watching and waiting. Then suddenly, the whispering stopped. The baby monitor went completely dead. The screen went black, no sound, nothing. I sat there frozen for a moment, staring at the blank screen, heart racing. I wanted to call the parents again, but part of me didn't want to know what they'd say. I just stayed in the living room, eyes flicking nervously to the dark hallway where the baby slept alone. When the parents finally came home, I was relieved, but also nervous. I told them everything. The whispering, the shadows, the monitor dying. I was expecting maybe a laugh or a simple explanation, but their faces changed. They didn't look at me the way they had before. Instead, they got quiet, almost serious. The mom glanced toward the baby's room like she didn't want to say too much, and the dad just nodded slowly. Then they told me something I wasn't prepared for. They said the house wasn't just an ordinary home, that the baby's birth had been complicated, that there was a story about the previous occupant, someone who died near the baby's room under tragic circumstances. They said sometimes strange things happen here, that the baby monitor might pick up sounds or movements that don't belong to this world. They didn't explain much more, just asked me to be careful and that they didn't want to scare me, but they also didn't want to ignore it. I left that night feeling like I wasn't just babysitting a baby. I was babysitting something else, something the family hadn't told me before. After that night, I couldn't stop thinking about what the family had told me. I kept replaying everything, the whispers, the shadows, and their strange, almost scared reactions. I wanted to believe it was all just stress or imagination, but something about it felt too real. The next day, I decided to look up the house's history online, just to see if I could find anything. I found some old news articles about the previous occupant, a woman who had lived there alone and died suddenly, right around the time the baby's room was being used. The reports were vague but hinted at an accident, something tragic that no one could quite explain. I even reached out to the parents once more, trying to gently ask if they knew more. They didn't want to talk much. They just said, "Some things are better left alone. The baby is safe, and that's what matters." But I still couldn't shake the feeling that whatever was on the baby monitor that night wasn't just interference or a glitch. It was something, or someone, connected to the house, watching over the baby, or maybe waiting for something. I kept having nightmares, waking up with the same sense of being watched. I wondered if the baby even noticed it. Sometimes, when I'd think back, I swore the baby's peaceful breathing would suddenly change, like they sensed something invisible nearby. The parents never talked about it openly, and when I babysat again, they never mentioned the whispers or the monitor's strange behavior. It was like an unspoken agreement to pretend nothing happened. But I know what I heard, and I know what I saw. I was never sure if it was protection or something darker lurking in the shadows. All I know is, that night, I wasn't just babysitting a baby. I was babysitting a secret, one that still haunts me.